Okay, so we're going to take a quick look at the coordinate system. We're going to do this in depth, but just a little bit, so that we can do chapter 9. So it may have been a while for you, but our x-axis is right here. And on the right side are positive numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the left side, we have our negative numbers, -1, -2, -3, and so on. So that's our x-axis. Our y-axis is up and down, and it's just like the x-axis, except it's flipped. And so now the top are our positive numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the bottom are negative numbers, -3, -1, -2, -3, -4, so on. All right, so let's try plotting some points. Okay, so before we plot some points, let's just take a look here. In the middle where these two meet is called the origin, and that is 0, 0. So we write these as ordered pairs, x comma y. X is always first and then y. We use parentheses and we use a comma in between to just show that it's an ordered pair. With the quadrant system, we're not going to look at this so much, but the quadrant system looks a little backwards to us, but what happens is usually they're Roman numerals. This is quadrant 1. Over here to the left is quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and finally quadrant 4. Like I said, you usually see Roman numerals for that. Okay. All right, so just a little bit of vocabulary here. The horizontal axis is the x-axis. The vertical axis is the y-axis. The origin is where those two intersect, and that's the ordered pair 0, 0. The independent variable is going to be x. The dependent variable is going to be y. We'll talk about that more in the next section. And then we have our ordered pair x, y. Okay, so let's plot a few points. The first one is 3, 1. So that means that x is 3. Why does it say 0? It's supposed to say 1 right there. And y is equal to 1. So we're going to come over 3 tick marks on the x-axis and up 1 on the y-axis, and that will give us the ordered pair 3, 1. Okay, let's try the next one. So the next one is -4, 0. This chart is very messed up. All right, so we are going to come over here to -4 because we want to stay on the, mark this out. We want to stay on the x-axis, and we don't move anywhere on the y-axis because y is equal to 0. So we're going to put an A there. Let's see if the rest of them are messed up. All right, so the next one is -2, -5. So I'm going to come over to the, start in the origin in the middle. I come 2 tick marks to the left on the x-axis and down 5 tick marks to -5 and label that as B. Okay, then we have 0, 6. So 0 for x means we're going to stay in the middle and then go up to +6 for y. That would be C. And then finally for D, we're going to go over 5 tick marks to the right to +5 on the x-axis and up 4 on the y-axis, and that's going to give me D. So this one looks a little strange because it has fractions, but that's what happens in real life. We don't have nice numbers in real life. And so x equals -1/2 means that we're going to move over to, it actually would be 3 half tick marks, right? But to the left. And then we're going to go down to -3. Okay, and that's going to be our ordered pair -1/2, comma, -3. So what happens in statistics is we take a bunch of data and we plot it on what we call well, sometimes we call it a dot plot. You'll see as we go along. But basically, we plot every ordered pair. So in this case, we've got hours spent studying and we have the quiz score. So hours spent studying is going to be our X. The quiz score is going to be our Y. And this is how we would write each ordered pair. So we would have 0.50, comma 8. That's from the first row. Then we would have 0.75, comma 9, and so on. And we would plot these so that we could see if there's any pattern with that. Okay, so this is a continuation of the data on that page before. First, they want you to write the meaning of the ordered pair 1.25, comma 13. Well, we know that the X is hours of how many hours they studied, and the Y is the score. So it would be that when she studied 1.25 hours, her quiz score was 13. Then they're going to have you pick a scatter diagram, and that's just looking at each of those points graphed. Well, most of these don't make any sense because there's not enough points on there for one thing. And so B, if you open that up, you can open it and make it bigger. I can't because I've copied this. But for the when you're in MyStatLab, you can click that button and have the graph come up bigger, and then you can check all of your ordered pairs at that point. All right, so this is just a substitution. What happens is they gave me an equation, 1/2 x minus 6, and they want me to find the ordered pair. So for the first one, they wanted me to find the ordered pair. If x is -4, what would y be? And so what I'm going to do is just substitute, -4 in for x and see what I get. Well, 1/2 of -4 is -2, minus 6 would give me -8. And so functions are all about inputs and outputs. We're not going to do a whole lot of that here in statistics, but we put a -4 in and we got a -8 back out. Now the second one's a little trickier. We do have to use what we know about lines. This time we knew y and we were looking for x. So we put -4 in for y. And then we need to clean this up a little bit. So I added 6 to both sides. That gave me 2 is equal to 1/2 x. And then I multiplied both sides by 2. That's because I wanted to get rid of this 1/2. So I multiplied both sides by 2. And when I did that, I got that x was equal to 4. And so that's my ordered pair. My ordered pair is going to be 4 that I found, comma, -4, which was what was given to me in the first place. Again, we're not going to do a whole lot with this, but it's a good review of what we've done with linear equations in the past. So this one was a little more work. They said the average annual cinema admission price, Y, from 2001 to 2010, so this is in dollars, is Y equals 0.5x plus 5.35. So that is my equation that they give me. X is equal to the number of years, and Y is going to. The problem is that they gave me in years since 2001. Okay, so if they want me, well, first they have me fill in the table, but this 1 is going to be actually the year 2002, because 2001 was my year 0. One more than that, which is 2002, would be my year 1. So all I'm going to do is substitute here, substitute 1 in for x, that gave me $5.85. Substitute 3 in for x, that gave me $6.85, and so on. Substitute 5. Then they wanted me to do a little more work. So this time they told me that the price was $7.88. They wanted to know what year that would be. So what I did here was I substituted 7.88 in for Y because that's the dollars. And then I went to work. So I subtracted 5.35 from both sides. That gave me 2.53 equals 0.5x. And then I divided both sides by 0.5. That gave me 5.06. Well, they want what year, so I'm going to round that to a whole number. But that's not telling me what year. That's telling me how many years after, but not actually which year. And so what I have to do is take my start year of 2001. That was my start year of all of my data. And I need to add 5 to that. And that's the year that the price was $7.88, give or take. Okay, so here they had you do it one more time. They said, in what year would the price be $9? So I substituted $9 in for Y and did that same work. I subtracted $5.35 from both sides, divided by 0.5. That gave me 7.3. So I went ahead and rounded that down to 7. But again, that's not the year, that's how many years after the start point. So I had to go ahead and take 2001, my start year, plus the 7 that I found. So that gave me 2008. And then they just wanted to know the meaning of the ordered pair 5, comma 7.85. Well, basically that means that in 2006, because if I take my start year plus the 5, which is the X, I get 2006. So in 2006, the average admission price was actually Y, the $7.85.